Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy October 10th, 2025. My favorite number is 10. 10. This is one of my favorite days of the year. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Listen, I was talking to Rob Higgins, the new CEO of athletics over at USF last Friday night. He was looking at my crazy colored shoes. He goes, "Where's the green ones?" And I go, "Oh, you know I got green ones, but I got to keep them in the bag for something special." I'm wearing my USF shirt today when I was with the USF football radio crew. Guys, take a screen. I challenge somebody. Take a screenshot of me. Make sure it's a nice looking picture. I mean, as good as I can for a face for radio. Take a picture of my shirt here. Screenshot it. Put it on social media. Tag Rob Higgins. Say, "Hey, today on the Recher podcast, we are supporting our USF Bulls as they take on North Texas tonight, national TV as well." Our guy, Robert Cochran, on the way to Denton to see the Bulls take on North Texas. So, boom. Yeah, take a screenshot. Boom. Tag, put it on your social media. Tag our guy, Rob Higgins. Tell him Recher is always supporting our Bulls. Always want to hear from you guys. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen if you want to chime in on the conversation, to talk about the Lightning game last night, to talk about the Buccaneers game on Sunday, the Bulls game tonight, or everything in between. There's the link right here. StreamYard.com/6R3GCW4PV3. Guests on the show today? None. It's just me, Oos, all day. Boom. Plenty to get into, plenty to talk about. I don't need anybody else's opinion today. This is how we rock here on the Recher podcast. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Continue the support. Continue the love. Shout out to our partners, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC 813-244-0956 for your residential and commercial needs. And, of course, our friends at EverHealth, everhealth.org for all the information on what they can do to help you from the cradle to the grave. Man, Dr. Rodriguez's injury report looks even smarter right now after what we've heard so far today when it comes to our Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the injuries. Wow. We'll talk about that to start the show, but I want to get to your comments real quick before we kick things off, and we'll start with our good pal David Terry, one of our favorite Jaybirds here on the program with the $10 super chat. Guys, Friday seems to be a real hot day for the super chat. Whatever you guys can do to contribute to the program, that's how we're going to keep this thing rolling. The super chats, the sponsors, every little bit helps here on the Recher podcast. And I want to continue to bring out the great content here in the Tampa Bay area. Can't do it for free. So every little bit helps. David Terry, you've been there for a while. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank God it's Friday. Benny's here. We know he's always supporting the program as well. DT, Jay, we got too complacent last night with a 2-goal lead. Can't lay off the gas like that. The Devils are coming to town next, and they will also make you pay if you let up. Guys, if you're going to the Lightning game tomorrow, Benchmark International Arena, come see us. Come see us outside of the arena, 6 o'clock broadcast, Sticks and Stools. Danielle McBroom and I will be outside the arena. Come check us out. 6 o'clock tomorrow outside of the arena. Come say hello. We're going to be very interactive with the program. Our guy, Robert Cochran, on the road to Denton. He's getting kind of nervous, and he joins us from the car. Are you driving? And I hope you're not driving and talking.
No. My fiance is driving. She is
the best. What's her name?
Lily.
Lily, you're the best. We love you.
She said thanks.
To put up with Robert's craziness all the time, the crazy fandom of the Oklahoma City Thunder and his USF Bulls. All right, buddy, how far out are you?
We're about 2 hours and 18 minutes away. We're gonna stop at we're gonna stop at Bucky's before hitting the USF tailgate.
What are you gonna get at Bucky's? Everybody wants to know.
Beaver nuggets, you got two, and then probably a drink, and we'll see what else, what other Bucky's stuff we can get into.
Whatever catches your eye, right? I got a soft taco last time I was there, and it was so good. People always talk about the brisket sandwiches, the pulled pork, and all that stuff. I got a soft taco. I'm like, hey man, if it's fresh, the chicken's got to be. It was fantastic. I was like, bro, this is better than a Mexican restaurant. All right, so give us your score prediction, buddy. What do you think is gonna? What do you think is gonna happen tonight?
I'm sticking with 35-21 that I said yesterday, but I will say I think that it's like a one touchdown game all the way through, and then at the very end, Alex Golish decides, hey, let's put another one on these boys, and we end up winning 35-21.
Unbelievable. Robert Cochran, one of our favorite guests and friends here on the program. Have a safe trip, buddy. Go Bulls. Take a bunch of pictures. Tag us in it. And give Lily our best. All right, buddy?
Okay, thank you.
You got it, buddy. Thank you, Robert Cochran. He's all over it, man. Tuning in from OKC. What a beast. What a beast. Thank you so much, buddy. You are the man. Really, really good stuff there. See, man, we're going worldwide here, man. We don't got fans just here in the Tampa Bay area. We got them in OKC as well. Robert is the best. And thank you to Lily for putting up with all of his shenanigans and tomfoolery as a sports fan. Greg DeCruz down there in Costa Rica saying hello. Dolan as well. What's up, buddy? Well, I'm telling you, Scatterboo Dart looks good. F Philly and their stupid turd push. Want to punch your Dolan, you're on one today, buddy. You're on one. Greg DeCruz will be here before you know it, pal. Janet Best, one of our queens here on the Recher podcast. Tough Bolts lost, but happy Friday and Go Bulls, Gators, and Bucks. Got that right. Rob G in the house. Football Friday. You got that right, buddy. It's a Football Friday. Big game for us. USF going to take it to North Texas. All right, Lenny. What's up, G? What's going on, buddy? We're doing good. Just going to be chilling at the house because I got a lot of things going on tomorrow and here. Tonight is kind of a little bit of a break in the don't have practice tonight, don't have any games to go to, so I got to catch up on laundry and all that jazz. So I'll be folding laundry and watching the game. Love the fight 9 seconds in. Put the entire league on notice, especially Florida. I know it's kind of crazy how that game went last night. Hello, Tampa Bay Jay. Hello to the J Recher peeps. And look at Benny chiming in with $5. Payday, baby. Let's keep it rolling. J Recher rocks. Thank you so much. Eddie Harada. Did you put the money, Eddie, on Kucherov scoring a goal? Different name, same guy. Kucherov got my goal, but y'all didn't get the W. Sorry. Man, that sucks. Beaver Nuggets. He has easy, buddy. Easy, buddy. Easy, Nathan. Connor's music coming. Didn't love the play from the defense last night. Hopefully they find a way to get it together. I know Radish has some better playing them. Greg DeCruz with his predictions. If you guys want to give me your predictions for the Buccaneers, for the USF Bulls, feel free to put them there on the bottom of the screen like Greg DeCruz, 31-21. Vita Vea scores from the 1 yard line. Lady Evil in the house. Go Bulls tonight. Jackson Dart is a dog, man. I mean, you get Malik Neighbors back. Watch out, dude. Watch out. I mean, I love Wandale Robinson. I think it's a great fit there. All right, so come on, Benny. Don't make it awkward by saying horned up. Delete that, Benny. Stop saying horned up. You're making it weird. Don't make it weird. Just Robert did it. Rob Higgins can confirm Jay Ridge rocking the Bulls today on the pod. Benny, delete that. Stop being weird. You weirdo. All right. So this is the reason why you want to pay attention to our guy, the doc, Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, when we have our weekly EverHealth injury report. He was telling us yesterday about the injuries to Chris Godwin, the injuries to Zion McCollum. And then we see about 2 hours ago, Jeremy Fowler from ESPN says Bucs wide receiver Chris Godwin dealing with a fibula injury is not expected to play Sunday versus the 49ers. A little bit of a setback for Godwin, who's played now 2 games on the season. This is not surprising. This is something that you have to kind of wait a second. If you're watching right now, hit that like button. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter /X right now. Hit that like button. We got no likes. Come on now. Got all these different people watching. Hit that like button right now. Come on now. no surprise there. No surprise that Chris Godwin's not in. And I'm actually going to post a video after the show today when it comes to what Doc had to say about Chris Godwin, what he had to say about Zion McCollum. Because, yeah, I mean, sometimes, we're not doctors, right? We may have stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but we're not doctors. But from what Doc was saying about some of the issues that Chris Godwin might have to, might be dealing with right now, it makes a lot of sense that, he's not going to be in there this week. Also, Zion McCollum. Yeah, he injured his thumb 2 weeks ago, but if he just had surgery, what do you think is going to, right? It's not going to be something where it's, I know Coach Bowles, pain management. Got to be more. Got to be more than that, man. It's going to be more than just pain management. You got to be able to go. You can't just go out there with a cast in your thumb and think you're going to play. Again, this isn't the Super Bowl, right? Get healthy. Come on back. Eddie says 27-17 Buccaneers win that one again. Thank you, Benny, right there. $5 super chat as well. And then look at Chan in the house. Ain't only homie coming with the cold hard cash. I'm out here too. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Couldn't do without you. 9 likes on YouTube. Tighten up, people. Come on, let's keep this thing rolling. All right, so there you go, Benny. There you go. That's better. Horns up for the Bulls. We'll take that, buddy. We'll take that. Don't be weird. Okay. So here's an update from Rick Stroud. Chris Godwin's fibula injury is in a different area than the fracture he suffered when he dislocated his ankle last October. Right now, he will be week to week depending on how he progresses. There are no plans to put him on injured reserve at this time. Interesting. The great Rick Stroud on the reporting there. Listen, I said this yesterday, and let's make sure we show a lot of love to Rick Stroud and all of our friends at the Tampa Bay Times, right? This is the reason why you want to follow a guy like Rick at NFL Stroud. What he's been able to do to cover this team for so long, right? He's all over it. He really is. And Rick is a guy that, I've worked with in the past. With Tom Jones. Remember, we had Tom Jones on a couple of weeks ago, right? So if Rick is on it, Rick is all over it. We know that. So make sure you subscribe to the Tampa Bay Times. There's really no better time. I mentioned this yesterday when Ed joined us for his weekly visit. There's no better time than now to be able to subscribe to the Tampa Bay Times, knowing that there's so many things changing with the race, right? The Bulls are really this is high time for the Bulls, right? Since the Willie Taggart era, since Quentin Flowers, this is the best team since then. So you want to follow Joey Knight, who's been covering this team forever, and Ed Encina with the lighting, Topkin, Romano, everybody, Rick Stroud. Like, these are the guys that you want to follow. They have great photographers. I was hanging out with my guy Lewis and Dirk Shad last night, so some really, really good stuff there. So in a different area than the fracture he suffered when he dislocated his ankle. So in a different area, I wonder what that would mean. Because obviously you know where the fibula is, and we talked about this with Dr. Rodriguez yesterday. This is something that's not surprising. When you have all the screws, I want to see if I can try to pull this up from yesterday. Give me a second. We'll look at it later. But I'm going to try to put this up a little bit later on when it comes to the injury with Chris Godwin, the injury with Zion McCollum. All right. It's all hands on deck, right? This is an opportunity for the Buccaneers to be able to step up without one of their best players once again. And Emeka Egbuka, that is going to be the main focus of the San Francisco defense. And it can't just be him. It's got to be Tez Johnson. It's got to be Sterling Shepard. I mean, does Ryan Miller contribute big time in this game, right? We saw Cade Otton really have his best game of the season receiving, because I think he's done a lot, under the radar, and what has not been said when it comes to his blocking and how good he's been. So everybody's going to have to step up. We know that a guy like Bucky Every's not going to be in there. So Rashad White, right? Rashad White and Sean Tucker, and every single person that gets in there, you got to make it happen. You got to make it happen. And listen, don't just, and I know the Buccaneers aren't looking at this, and I know a lot of people are going into these 3 games like, Got to win one of three. Hell, man, win this game too. It's almost in the same situation as we talked about with USF after they won that Boise State game. Yeah, I mean, don't look at the Gators like, oh, yeah, we beat Boise State. Hell no. You know what the matchup's going to be like next week with Detroit. But you can't worry about that right now. Win this game with San Francisco. Just like John Cooper for the Lightning talks about munching points. This Buccaneers team has to put as many wins in the can as humanly possible. Keep winning. And this is, listen, it's a very, very well-coached team with San Francisco. These games are going to be tight. They just are. Two well-coached teams. You know, Christian McCaffrey's out there. You know what kind of dynamic player he's going to be, regardless if it's Mac, if it's Brock Purdy. We know both those guys are dealing with injuries as well. Keep Christian McCaffrey in front. And I think playing Saquon Barkley just a couple of weeks ago, I mean, those guys are so dynamic, whether it's catching the ball, whether it's running the ball. So just having that, all right, familiarity of, hey, we can't let this guy beat us. Keep everything in front. Swarm to the football, gang tackling. That is going to be huge in this game because Christian McCaffrey really is the guy that can just throw your entire game plan, you know, in the trash basket because he can just beat you individually. Rob G, last minute field goal by Chase, 2017 Bucks, shake and bake, and Mbuka with another TD. And I say beat you individually. I know it takes the entire team, but I'm talking about a guy that can create something out of nothing. Nancy, hi Jay, looking good in the USF shirt. Go Bulls. Nancy, I'm here. Rob Higgins was busting my chops about not wearing a USF shirt. I told everybody before, Nancy, take a picture of me wearing the USF shirt, screenshot it, post it on Twitter, tag Rob Higgins, tell him that we're supporting the Bulls here on the Jay Recher podcast. See if you guys can do that. Big Dave from Kate Otten. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They will miss Godwin's veteran presence, but let's be honest, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He certainly wasn't. He wasn't 100%. Eddie, cashing in on anytime TD for Ibuka until they don't allow it. Yes, keep going. He's going to be their main focus of this offense, especially with Chris Godwin out. So if you're a guy that's gambling, if you're a guy that's betting fantasy football, Emeka Ibuka all day, every day, continue to ride that Emeka Ibuka train, buddy. I've been hearing rumors with Mark Andrews from Baltimore possibly being traded before deadline. Is it possible sooner reunion with Baker and Andrews? I don't think so. I don't think you need it. I really don't. Because what you need your tight end to be able to block first and foremost in this offense and then go from there. And Jason Light's not that guy. He's not that guy to go, all right, I'm going to necessarily trade at the deadline. The NFL trade deadline is different than everything else. Now, do I love when the general managers are wheeling and dealing? Yes. I know it's not fantasy football and baseball and basketball and hockey. I get that. But I love that shit, man. I love it. I love when they're wheeling and dealing. I love when it's the MLB trade deadline or the NHL trade deadline or the NBA, and there's tons of players back and forth getting traded. It's just not like that in the NFL, which is kind of weird because, you know, NFL is king. It's the most popular sport in this country. But for some reason, the trade deadline is just not the same. And you would think with the draft being as big as it is, with the combine as big as it is, with OTAs and, you know, the NFL network and how they make a story out of nothing, right? The NFL off season might be the second most popular season behind the NFL season. So the fact that the trade deadline isn't bigger and they don't put more of an onus on the trades and there isn't multiplayer trades, like how cool would that be? Like we see that sometimes where like baseball teams will trade 2 players for 3 players, or you'll see that in basketball. Or you never see that in football. You never see like, all right, well, we're going to trade 3 members of our defense for 2 members of your offense and 1 member of your defense. Like I would love shit like that. Bucks still have enough weapons to win. Tucker needs to step up. Nathan Elliott, Sterling Shepard will be big. There he is. Honest Hammer in the house. Sup, Jay and fam. It's Friday. We have Bulls football tonight. 2:20 is firing Cannon Sunday afternoon. 2 pumps. Again, we said it at the beginning of the show. We'll say it again here. Honest Hammer, my guy, Russ and the crew. 813-244-0956 for all your residential and commercial needs. Just tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. And they'll take care of you. Bart Hill in the house as well. Let's see. First name greatest. Crazy Bucks paid over $20 million for a guy when they had other needs. A lot of young wide receivers come in and produce. Light needs to separate emotion and needs of the team. Now, listen, I think there's a semblance of truth to that, right? Knowing that this is a guy that has dealt with injuries in the past before. But we knew going into the season that Chris Godwin you didn't make that deal necessarily just for this season. You didn't make that deal just because, okay, you knew that Chris Godwin was just going to hit the ground running here in 2025 and he was going to be the Chris Godwin of old. The Chris Godwin of last year went through the first 5 or 6 weeks. He was the best in pretty much in all football. So it's not surprising to me, and especially because we saw him coming back off the ACL injury a couple of years ago, and the recovery wasn't that fast. It took a little while. But again, when you have aspirations of going deep into the playoffs, a long postseason run, and winning a Super Bowl, when you get to the end of the year, and we're all hoping that by that time Chris Godwin is as close to 100%, and Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan, just think about it, guys. None of the injuries to those guys, and we're knocking on wood, none of those injuries to the top guys on the skill side of the offense, right? None of those guys are out for the year. So when you get to the end of the season, you're going to have Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Sean Tucker in your backfield. Your wideouts are going to be Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, right? You're going to have a lot of guys available to be able to make plays for you. And let's not forget, as much as I love what the defense did in the Super Bowl when they were able to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, when you go back and watch that game, especially with the highlights, because you're going to get more offensive highlights than defensive highlights, who do you cover in that game? Who do you cover? You cover Godwin, you cover Evans, you cover AB, you cover Gronk. Like, it was just Leonard Fournette running everywhere. Like, you need ballers. You need playmakers on both sides of the ball. Now, I said this before, and I'll say it again. If Chris Godwin went to the Patriots or the Jaguars or one of these other teams, they'd be really upset today. I'm not. They're 4-1. I'm not surprised. If you would have told me before the season that Chris Godwin was going to come back in week 3, 4, or 5, he was going to play a couple games, he was going to, maybe deal with some ramifications of the injury and sit out a game or two, but then he'll be back for the rest of the season, I think I would take that. And listen, I understand what you're saying again about the loyalty. It's not necessarily, Light has a history of relying on injured players to come back, could use a pass rusher or LB to help this D. Yeah, but he did address those positions. It's not like he couldn't address those positions because he had Chris Godwin, right? He went out and got Hassan Reddick. He drafted David Walker. Can they still make a move? Yeah, they can. Just because they made a move there. And again, you're not spending $20 million on a pass rusher, right? I don't think that you're doing that. You're getting a guy like Chris Godwin that's going to help you on the field and off the field, and you make a commitment more than just 1 year. So again, you know what he's going to be able to contribute when he's back and when he's healthy, and you know that you don't have to rush him back. Because right now, it's not about him being healthy right now. It's about him making sure, like, you're getting your feet wet, you're getting used to playing again, and then at the end of the season, as close to 100% as possible, and then have as many weapons for Baker Mayfield as we get into the postseason. That's the most important thing. Now, the other thing to be cognizant of is we're supposed to hear from Todd Bowles at 12:10 today, and we haven't. So that's a little surprising. Again, no McCollum, no Godwin at practice today. Looks like they're going to be out. Evans, Irving, Morrison, Dean and Izzy look fine and should play. That's according to Greg Allman from Fox Sports. So that is a big positive sign when you look at the defense. When you're looking at this defense and seeing Zion McCollum going to be out, what you really wanted to have and really wanted to see was, all right, if he's out, it seems like we've had this the last couple of years where one guy in a position goes in and one guy in a position comes out. It's almost like they're tagging in, like a tag team match in the WWE. That's why you have depth. And that's why, again, you have to be careful when people are saying, trade this guy, trade that guy. Remember the two guys that everybody was talking about before the season? Let's see if you guys remember. Right? Who were the two guys before the season people were saying that the Buccaneers needed to trade? Tell me. I'll quiz you. Two players that before the season, Buccaneer fans were saying that this team should trade for draft picks or players at other positions. I'll give you a second to be able to answer. Reddick is a bust as a rusher. Yaya's the king of pressures and whiffs. Yeah, I mean, I still think Reddick is a good player. You're also playing a lot of teams to get rid of the football quickly. I saw Josh Capo the other day talking about how the Buccaneers have faced a lot of quarterbacks to get rid of the ball quickly, so it's tough to get a bunch of sacks. Yaya's the king of pressures and whiffs. I mean, I've been saying that about Yaya. We've got to see something from him. We've got to see something from him. You guys are watching. You guys are paying attention. And look at all of the right answers. Nathan Elliott, you're close. Dolan, spot on. Spot on. Nathan Elliott, Derek Turner, Greg DeCruz. Look at you real Bucs fans out there. Not saying you're not, Nathan. You were 2/3 of the way there, or half of the way there. Everybody wanted, not everybody, but a large chunk of people wanted to trade Jamel Dean and Rashad White. Where in the hell would this team be right now if they traded both of those guys for draft picks? Because you're not trading them for players. Again, this is the NFL. This is the NFL. You're trading them probably for draft picks. Where would the Buccaneers team be if they traded Rashad White and Jamel Dean? They probably wouldn't be 4-1. Rashad White has been running with anger and ferocity. And he is a guy that I knew. This team is better when they're both available. You're looking all across the league. Look no further than what we saw in Seattle with Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker IV. You very, very few and far between when you're talking about a bell cow running back. We don't want that. We don't have a guy. Like, Bucky Irving's not built like Derrick Henry. Less than a year and a half in the league, he's already had, 3 or 4 different injuries. Like, it is what it is. But again, Bucky healthy at the end of the year is the most important thing. So that's why from day one, I was saying Rashad White, Sean Tucker early in the season. Those guys are bigger. They're physical. I don't want to say they're more physical, but they're just bigger dudes that can handle the contact a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with that. Play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. Jamel Dean, having more of a 4-man pass rush, trying to get there. Listen, that's the other thing. As much as everybody's saying there's no, Reddick's not this, Yaya Diaby's not this, right? They're not getting sacks, and partially is because the other quarterbacks are getting rid of the football more quickly. Yeah. So Jamel Dean can play that press coverage and play as well as he has for the first 2 and 3 games of the season. That is huge. Huge. And now you see it accentuate his strengths. Of course, being in there is huge. All right, so talking about this now. All right, we finally have an official who is out for the Bucs. Greg's the best. Everybody's the best. I mean, there's so many great people that cover our teams here in the Tampa Bay area. All right. Greg Allman just tweeting it out. Who is going to be out for the Buccaneers on Sunday? 6 Bucs out this weekend. Todd Bowles officially rules out Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, Zion McCollum, Benjamin Morrison, and Josh Williams, who was in concussion protocol after an injury in practice on Thursday. And as Greg also alluded to, with Bucky and Josh Williams both out, Bucs will almost certainly elevate Owen Wright from the practice squad to have a third healthy running back dressed. He was just signed back this week. And if you remember, in the preseason, he looked good. Owen Wright looked good. He had some good moments in camp as well. So yeah, man, go do your thing. Maybe you return some kicks. Maybe you get some action in the offensive game and with the offensive play calling. But there you have it. 6 Buccaneers out on Sunday. Again, we'll name them again. Mike Evans, no surprise there. Chris Godwin, dealing with that fibula injury. A really great story up right now on TampaBay.com by Rick Stroud about Chris Godwin and dealing with that fibula injury. So Evans out, Godwin out, Bucky Irving out, Zion McCollum out, Benjamin Morrison out, Josh Williams out. So, okay, you're looking at your top 2 wide receivers, and I get it, guys. I know about Emeka Egbuka, all right? But just going into the season, we knew who the top 2 guys were, right? Your number 1 running back out. One of your first cornerback or second cornerback out, Morrison. Your young second-round secondary player. All right, well, Bryce Hall probably going to be elevated in this game to be able to start opposite of Jamel Dean. So, and then also you got to think too, if you're looking at the wide receiver position with those 2 guys being out, I mentioned about the other guys that are going to have to step up. So we know that Evans and Godwin are out. All right, Emeka Egbuka, your wide receiver 1 by default, right? And because you freaking earned it, but also Sterling Shepard, right? Also, Tez Johnson. You're seeing Tez get more and more involved with the offense. And Todd Bowles said as much. He said, the more that this guy learns the playbook, the more opportunities he's going to get. Good. I've got faith in Ryan Miller. Solid as a rock. We've seen it before. When the Buccaneers have lost wide receivers, Ryan Miller can step up and do the job. Cam Johnson, who's done a really great job in the return game, listen, they like him as a wideout too. And then Garrett Green, remember him, the converted quarterback. Get him up there. Maybe he makes some plays. So, and I think that's, and I hear what you're saying here. Dave Velasquez in the house, our investigative reporter. These injuries make it hard to be fully excited. I get it. But that's kind of the NFL. If you're a football fan, this is something you have to deal with. And I've said it many times before. It's probably one of the worst things about the NFL. It's one of the worst things about the NFL is that every single week, a huge part of the conversation is who's not going to be in the game or who may not be in the game or who may be compromised because of injuries. That's the worst part of the NFL. And I know it comes with the territory. I get that. But it just sucks. Like, such a huge topic of conversation is the injury report. I just want to watch a season where Joe Burrow's in there the whole time. I just want to watch a season where we're not missing Kalijah Kancey or Cody Mauch or Kokeeft or any of these other guys, right? Like Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. Like, I don't want to see any of these guys miss any games. We don't have that as much as, I mean, it's just way more, and I get it. It's just the physical toll that it takes. It just sucks, man. It sucks. Another close game likely. Anyone trusts D to stop a Shanahan offense? You know, you bring up a great point. This has been a season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to kind of prove the doubters wrong or to kind of go against some of the narratives that they've created themselves the last couple of years. And we've seen them come up short against Kyle and this San Francisco offense. Remember the game a couple of years ago in San Fran, the game obviously last year where the only reason why the Bucs were in it was because Moody missed all those kicks before he finally made one. So this is another test for the Buccaneers. Prove it. Prove it. You want to be considered real? You want to be considered one of those teams that, okay, you're not just a division. Oh, the division sucks. That's why they're good. You say that all you want about the Bucs. You say that all you want about the Bucs. Oh, the division sucks, blah, blah, blah. All right. All right. Well, think about it like this. They went into Detroit and won a couple of years ago, didn't they? Regular season. Aiden Hutchinson got all the sacks. Bucs won. Bucs beat the Eagles last year, didn't they? When they won the Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. Interesting. So for all these people talking shit about the division, I mean, Buccaneers went into Seattle and won. That doesn't happen very often, especially a team from the East Coast. So now, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is another challenge. This is another challenge. Step up. Go up against this team that we know is well coached, that you've had trouble beating in the past. All right. Prove it. Prove it. Win this game. Even though you're not at full strength, we know they're not at full strength. Go out there and prove it. You keep crossing off these certain things. You keep checking off these like little milestones, right? I think that's how you build a championship pedigree. You just build and build and build. It's not the same recipe every single year. It's not the same steps forward and the same steps back. But there's certain, it's almost like a video game, right? You have to beat this level to get to the next level, to get to the next level, to get to the big boss, to get to King Bowser at the end. Bucs fans, relax. Y'all could be a fan of the false fins like me. Sadly, I too am a Bucs fan, but I'm Miami's first, so breathe and enjoy the season. You had to do it. Thank you, Eddie, for the $5 super chat. GP, if you really want to get scary chat, imagine being a Jets fan like me. GP, I hope you follow my guy Jake Asman, the Jake Asman Show. GP, make sure that you tell him that you heard it right here on the J Rich podcast. All right. You guys want to talk some Lightning hockey real quick? Let's get some Lightning hockey action. I'm going to tell you what really was going on with the Lightning last night. Now, be careful what you see on social media when people try to talk shit and they don't tag you in it. Because I saw some people saying, oh, man, complaining about the power play and blah, blah, blah. Nobody was complaining about the power play other than the fact that they were overpassing on the last one. And if you pay attention at all, John Cooper always says, it's not about the power play or the penalty kill or the saves. It's about when they happen. So, yeah, when you look at it all together, yeah, they were 2 for 3. But they sucked all the momentum out of the building on that last one. They passed it 48 times and didn't shoot. Kucherov is the main culprit. Just the way it goes. He's the main engine when it works, and he's the main culprit when it doesn't. It's just as heavy as the head that wears the crown. That's fine. But I really like Oliver Bjorkstrand. I think Oliver is a guy that when you look at and you see what he can contribute, you're looking at a guy that can get 12 to 15 power plays goals this year. Mark my words. If he stays healthy for 82 games, Oliver Bjorkstrand will score at least 12 to 15 power play goals. Write that down. He's going to get the opportunities. And of course, he's going to be playing with a guy like Nikita Kucherov. Here's the other thing. We're talking about the Lightning, right? They ran out of gas in the third period. And John Cooper said it best in the third. He said, listen, both teams got to a point in the third period where they were kind of washed. And they said, all right, let's just kind of play it. And let's try to get to overtime and see who wins. Jake Sanderson had other plans. The stud defenseman, we remember him from Team USA, from the Four Nations. He comes out and rushes to the net. Defense didn't do their job. Vasi, I can't really put that on him. Boom. Pinto's there. Makes him, he picks up the rebound and scores a goal. I'm not putting any of these, like, when you look at what happened with Andrei Vasilevsky and these goals, a lot of it to me is breakdowns in front. It could have been worse. Couple of shots from Tkachuk on the stick side. He makes some great plays. The breakaway goal from Pinto, like, you can't let that guy behind you. And then he's looking to make the glove save. Radish gets the stick. The puck goes to the middle, beats him 5-hole. I don't know if any of them were really soft. I don't really put this on Andrei Vasilevsky because it could have been worse. It's the defense. Again, the defense has to step up and get better. Now, to start off, the game was rocking. The building was rocking. The power play looked good. Point when he scores and Kucherov when he scores. I mean, the team looks good. Because when you look at a guy like Curtis Douglas, who's 6'9", in his first game in the National Hockey League, 9 seconds into his shift, gets into a fight. That brought the building to his feet. Everybody was rocking because it was the home opener. But what happens after that? Like, the air comes out of the balloon. I remember years ago, I think it was after they won the Cup, they lost at home to the Penguins, and the Penguins weren't supposed to be that good that year. It happens, man. You're just not used to playing a full 60 minutes. The Lightning haven't played a full 60 minutes with their full team until the first game of the season, so I wouldn't overdo it when it comes to being so worried about this team. I'm not even worried about the power play. I'm just talking about what happened on that one. But here's the thing that I liked. I did like early on in the power play that it wasn't just puck movement, it was player movement. You saw that on the last one. So there are signs of change. Here's the other thing, guys. This is something that nobody's talking about today. If you're not playing good enough, if you are not playing good enough, you're going to be out of the lineup. And you already saw it today. Jack Finley's out there on the ice. Emil Lilleberg wasn't out there because maintenance day, got into a scrap last night. It is what it is. But now we're at a place where if you're not good enough, you're coming out. If you're not good enough, you're coming out. So as much as I like Darren Radish, good dude, have a really good time. Like defensive miscues, that's not gonna cut it. That is not gonna cut it. I didn't think Mitchell Chafee played all that well last night. Couple of penalties. I know they kept putting him out there. He plays a tough game. Played hard. You can't take penalties. I thought Pontus Holmberg was non-existent last night. A guy in the fourth line. Listen, the thing about the Lightning this year, which gives me optimism about this team, is that because they were so butted up against the salary cap the last couple of years, they really couldn't make any changes. They couldn't. If you played well, you didn't play well, it was like, well, we got to stick with you. Not this year. We know Point, Gensel, and Kucherov ain't going nowhere. We know Cirelli and Hagel ain't going anywhere. Gordo was flying around last night. So that's about 6 guys. Everybody else, you're on notice. You're on notice. I'll go to the defense. Hedman's not going anywhere. McDonough and Chernak's not going anywhere. I thought Max Crozier played fantastic last night. He can't come out of the lineup. He can't. Lilleberg plays better with Max Crozier. That's your 6th defenseman. That's it. Radish, just like he was at the beginning of last year, is going to be on the outside looking in. And offensively, if you don't do the job, you're out. You're out. Nick Paul will be back at some point. If Holmberg doesn't do the job, put him through waivers, whatever. You got Pelletier, you got Stahoviak. Douglas probably won't play tomorrow night. I think Jack Finley will get in there. Jack Finley is going to prove tomorrow whether he deserves to be in the lineup every night or not. I was very surprised that he wasn't in there last night. And then you need a face-off late. He's not in there. He's the guy that can contribute offensively as well as defensively and going into the corners. At some point, we're going to see Finley, Gergensons, and because remember, he's out. Finley, Gergensons, and Douglas. That's going to be 3 strong dudes. 3 strong guys. But that's what gives me hope about this Lightning team. Is it can't just be like, all right, well, he made a mistake. We don't got anybody else. Figure it out, dude. There is internal competition with this team that we haven't seen in a while. We haven't seen it in a while. And that's what they need. And I love the physicality. I love the physicality early on in this game. And I think that what happened with the Florida Panthers, I put that video out the other day about this being the best rivalry in sports right now. And Florida Panthers fans, they're like, oh, keep crying, bro. I'm like, do you guys have a problem, understanding? It's just so strange. You're looking at it, you're going dude, nobody was talking smack about the Florida Panthers. Nobody was talking, not in that video, at least. I was saying that I think it's the best rivalry in sports, and the Lightning said enough was enough, and they stood up to the Panthers for their dirty play. Come on, bro. You got to understand. You're not apologizing for anything, right? Just stand up for the shit. Don't tell me that I'm crying. Sounds like you're all bitching and moaning. Learn how to comprehend. I'm nuts. But watching this team, that internal competition, it's going to make everything, I think, a lot better with this team. I love the physicality early on. And I think what happened with the Panthers is going to carry over for the rest of the season. Because I feel like they are in a position where they can't just play physical like that against the Panthers. That can't just be something that they just pull out of their bag like they did in that preseason game where, we're going to bring Sabrin up, we're going to have Schmidt up and do all. You got to play that way the entire time. That is what they did in 2020 and 2021. You want to play a certain type of game, we can play it. High-scoring game, we'll do it. 1-0 game, we'll do it. You want to get nasty, Pat Maroon will take care of business. Donnie Gord, Coleman, Goodrow. They ain't backing down. That's what we saw last night. That's why I thought we were going to see some fireworks last night. If you listen to me on the show yesterday, this is why you listen to the show. I don't just say things to say things. I told you yesterday last night was going to be freaking intense, and it was. Carter Douglas. I keep calling him Carter. Curtis Douglas, 9 seconds into his shift, gets into a fight. Lilleberg gets into a fight. A lot of scrappy play from both teams. It's not going to stop. The Lightning are going to play that way all year long because they know they need to. Joseph Brennan, Go Bulls, nice shirt, Jay. Joe, take a picture, screenshot it. Tag Rob Higgins on Twitter. Tell him that Jay Recher supports the Bulls right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Love you guys. All right. Speaking of USF, speaking of the Bulls, tonight is a huge night. Huge night for the Bulls. Now, for a couple of reasons. Again, you just said this about the Buccaneers. You have an opportunity. Every game in front of you is an opportunity to prove where you're at and who you are as a team. And also you're on national TV, again, on ESPN2. So even the casuals are going to check you out. And what you want to be known as is you want to be known as that team as every single time they're on TV, they win. Home, road. I like the Bulls. The more casual people that are talking about South Florida, the better. The better. It helps with the voters. It helps with everything. This is one of those games where if USF wants to be taken seriously as a conference championship contender, this is the game you win. This is the game you win. If you lose a game against Memphis, listen, Memphis is a really good team. Don't get me wrong. I don't want them to lose that game. But if you lose that game in a close game, you'd understand it maybe a little bit more. Not this one. And I don't care if North Texas is 5-0. You have to prove that your game travels. You did it against Florida. You got to answer the bell again. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't look back and be like, well, we did this. That shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. USF has a huge opportunity in front of them. Huge. Byron Brown. He wins this game on the road. People maybe start murmuring about maybe on the outside looking in when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. You don't know, man. They start going off. Byron starts going off. They win this game. They win the game against Memphis. They're in the hunt. They're a top. I told you. If you win this game and you win that next game and you win the game against Memphis, you're talking about a top 15 team in the country. Top 15. Think about that. Imagine if I said that before the season. You'd probably say I was crazy. It starts tonight. That same mindset that they had against Boise State. That's what they need to have tonight. They need it. They need to win this one. Go out there, play the game the right way. No stupid mistakes. We saw too many dumb plays last. It's just, bleh. Not good. Not good. A win's a win. I get it. But for me, this is an opportunity to prove that you're not just, all right, oh, yeah, this is USF, great. Yeah, we're just here for the ride, and we have some wins, and, here, no. Go out there and win this game. Plant your flag in the ground that you're legit. You're the 24th team in the country. God dang it, play like it. Go out there and get a dub. Also on the slate this weekend, some games that are catching my eye. Ohio State goes to Champaign, take on the number 17 team in the country in Illinois. We saw Illinois get smacked by Indiana a couple weeks ago. More on the Hoosiers in a second. Even though they're on the road, Buckeyes still 14.5-point underdogs. This game doesn't really scare me. If I'm the Buckeyes, Illinois will be outside of the top 25 after they get rolled in this one. Alabama and Missouri, number 8 Crimson Tide against the number 14 Tigers. They're in Columbia, Missouri. Alabama, 2.5-point favorite. This is another one of those games. It's going to be a tough one for the Crimson Tide. But if they want to prove to everybody, myself included, that they're still here, they're not going anywhere, this is a game that Nick Saban and those guys would win. All right, Kalen DeBoer, prove to us that you're going to be able to go out there and take care of business. A 12 o'clock kick, that place is going to be rocking. There's some really good 12 o'clock games, too. Mentioned the first one, second one, and then Florida State hosting Pittsburgh. Florida State trying to bounce back after the loss to Miami. Can they right the ship and kind of get back to where they were, where they were at? UCLA goes to Michigan State. That school down I-4 takes on Cincinnati. 12:45, Ole Miss hosts Washington State. And then these two matchups at 3:30 are the ones there's a couple of good ones at 3:30 too. Man, it's a good weekend in college football. Kind of the opposite of what we saw in the NFL slate last weekend. Number 3, Oregon welcomes number 7, Indiana to Eugene. A 7.5-point favorite is Oregon. And we'll see what Indiana is made up. We mentioned this last year when we were talking about the college football player and playoff and talking to our guy, Ian Beckles, about Indiana matching up with Notre Dame and how that was a bad matchup because they're kind of built the same way. Notre Dame's just got bigger, stronger, faster athletes. I think that gap is closing. Oregon, I think, is for a long time been known as like the glitz and glamour and Marcus Mariota and Michael James and more of like trickery and skill. But man, I can't count out Dan Lanning. I mean, I think for my money right now, maybe the best coach in college football. But Indiana needs to muddy this up, ugly it up. And I know that they've got some fantastic players themselves. And I've seen some really cool articles over the last couple of weeks of just all the different things going on with Indiana and how they're not just a basketball school anymore. And I just saw something the other day. It was like they're a football school, not a basketball school, and led by Fernando Mendoza. And when he does 16 touchdowns, 1 interception, he's going to have to be the guy. He's going to have to be the best player on the field if Indiana wants to win this game. It's not going to be an easy one. Points could be, it could be a high-flying affair. It depends on what kind of battle this is going to be, but I'll be tuned in 3:30 as well on CBS. Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River rivalry there at the Cotton Bowl. We know that one's always played in Texas there. Number 6 Sooners, Texas, fresh off the backs of losing that game to the Florida Gators. Nothing would be better for them than to be able to bounce back and to win this game. That'd be pretty damn cool for them. No doubt about it. Almost all NHL teams played last time, play tomorrow. Strange scheduling for week 1. The NHL they're just so weird with how they do things. They don't make it easy on them. They really don't. Let's see other games in the college football slates. Georgia Tech hosts Virginia Tech. Notre Dame hosts NC State. Iowa State, fresh off their loss, they travel to Colorado to take on Primetime and the Buffaloes. Texas A&M hosts Florida. Let's see if they can piggyback of what they did last week after the win over Texas. You have Georgia traveling to Auburn to take on the Tigers. Michigan travels across the country to take on USC. LSU hosts South Carolina. Arizona State travels to Utah to take on the Utes. But again, it starts and ends with me tonight. And the Bulls. Go do your thing. Curious as a USF fan, what was it like watching USF play Bama in uncomfortably close games? It was in a weird way, GP, it was a blessing, bro. It was a blessing. Because the first one, I remember being there and being on the sideline before the game and watching the whole thing with Jalen Milroe. There was that saga, why wasn't he playing? Nick Saban there, Charlie Strong was on the coaching staff, right? So it was really cool to see the Crimson Tide there at Raymond James Stadium and the Bulls, trying to go head to head. And I thought they played their ass off. Naquan Wright running over that defender was obviously the most memorable thing of that day. And then going to Tuscaloosa last year for that game. The final score was not indicative of how close that game was. And I'll always think back to if Byron Brown hits those 2 deep shots, we could be having a completely different conversation today because he was hurt. Not much, not many weeks later. But going to Tuscaloosa to cover that game between Alabama and USF was probably one of the highlights of my career. Just watching them go about their business and just seeing 100,000 people there at Bryant-Denny. The day that they honored Nick Saban, they named the field after him, that was really, really cool, man. That is not a moment that I'll soon forget. And if you remember, I went to Tuscaloosa last year. and then drove home at 2 a.m. so I could get home to go to the Buccaneers game. So I don't know if anybody else covered Bucks in Alabama, USF Alabama, and then Bucks and whoever the hell they played the next day. But I know by the fourth quarter I was dead ass tired. Byram needs to play mistake-free football tonight, and his legs will be needed. Jay, we all know you support the Bulls. What college football team are you a fan of? Oh, good question, David. College football is different for me because I didn't grow up. I grew up in New York, so we didn't really have a team like that. The team that I really liked early on was Florida State because I love Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was my guy. Then he played for the Knicks. Then when I came down here, when I moved down here, my best friend at the time was a Gators fan, so I watched a ton of Gators. And I really loved Urban Meyer's offense. It was just a joy to watch. He incorporated 2 quarterbacks. The way that he handled Chris Leak and Tim Tebow was I think the best that we've ever seen a guy handle 2 quarterbacks. Every single time he put Tebow out there, it was the right time. Whether it was a pass, usually it was a run, short yardage situation. And it was just a fun team to watch. But I always say, to Eddie's point here, if I grew up in Florida, I'd probably be a Miami fan. I don't know why I say that. But I would say I started off with probably a Florida State fan-ish, right? And my late grandma, she was a big Notre Dame fan. So I got a soft spot in my heart for Notre Dame. I always want to see them well as well. But yeah, college football is a little different. College basketball, Duke. I've always been a Duke fan since I was 5 years old. And they won the national championship, 5 or 6 years old. Pepsi came out with a blue soda. And it was like Duke, and it had the national championship thing on there. And I was like, Dad, can I root for these guys? My dad says, you can root for whoever the hell you want. And boom, I was a Duke fan from then on out, dealing with a lot of the scrutiny, a lot of the championships. It's been a lot of fun. But Coach K, unbelievable. Let's see. Respecting getting out of T-Town to get back to the Bucks. That's dope. Was oddly happy to see USF fans be happy with the competitiveness. Happy to see them do well. Hard school to hate. You got that right. Rob, you bring up a great point. USF receivers need to make sure they don't drop so many passes like last week. Play hungry, motivated, quick. USF will prevail. My dad named me after Grant Hill due to my grad. That's cool, GP. That's awesome, man. Yeah, Grant Hill, that was my guy. Love that guy. My favorite Duke player of all time, though, no doubt about it, was Jason Williams. Jason Williams was, in my mind, one of the greatest college basketball players of all time. He had the clutch gene. He took over games. He knew when to pass. He knew when to shoot. I mean, just some of those teams in the late 90s, those are my guys, man. I loved watching them. Boozer and Battier and Luol Deng and Elton Brand. And, man, those are Trajan Langdon. That's funny, too, because, like, the white guys, like, everybody hates this. I wasn't – like, I like J.J. Redick, but he wasn't, like, my favorite player. I wasn't a big Leitner fan. I wasn't a big Bobby Hurley fan or a Wojo fan. Grayson Allen was good. I loved Jaleel Okafor. That was my guy. I liked all, like, the glue guys, the 3-and-D kind of guys, all 95 of the Plumleys. Who inspired you to become a reporter/broadcaster? Do you know who Ariel Helwani is? Great interviewer. Yes, of course, Greg. I love Ariel Helwani. Fantastic. Big WWE fan, big UFC. I met him in Tampa at a UFC event many, many years ago before he was Ariel Helwani that we see today, with one of the best shows in all of sports. I love what he does. I wish him and Dana White got along. I wish he was a little more closely involved with the UFC because he's been around so much. He's been around so fantastic. And, the whole thing with Brock Lesnar, and they told him not to say something. He did anyway. It is what it is. But, yeah, Ariel's great. What inspired me to get into broadcasting? Just my love of sports. Just my love of sports. It really was. I didn't get really inspired. Well, let me take that back. Sam Rosen from the Rangers was great. Sam Rosen from the Rangers. I used to listen to sports talk radio with my dad. I just knew that I like talking about sports. I like being around sports. And at some point, I knew that I wasn't going to be a professional athlete. Now, I got offers to play some D2, some D3, some JUCO, baseball, hockey. When I was a junior, I had an offer to play some hockey somewhere. didn't know how real that was, but saying that I could have gone to like a prep school or something in Rhode Island. It was a teacher talking to another teacher. I don't even think I like really told my parents about that because I didn't want them to push me in that direction because I wanted to stay home. But I had a really good junior year in hockey. But I think broadcasting was always, it's funny. You guys say that. Check this out. A couple years ago, I have like these things. We have these old articles and these old letters that my grandfather used to send me, because part of the reason why I love sports so much is obviously my dad, but my grandfathers on both sides of the family were always very supportive and always, pushing me to learn about the game. And especially my dad's dad, my grandpa Recher, Grandpa Wally, he would always like write me letters, and he would always say like, look at this and look at that, and, cut out newspaper articles. And he would really, like, he just grew my love for the game. He lived in Connecticut, and he would come down for the weekend, and he would stay in my room because I had bunk beds, and Grandpa would sleep on the bottom bunk. I'd sleep on the top, and he'd keep me up until 1, 2 in the morning, and we would just talk about sports. Don't forget about, Old Reliable Tommy Heinrich and Twinkle Toes George Selkirk and all these guys from the 30s and 40s and 50s from the Yankees. And it stoked the flame of my excitement for sports. And last year I went home and I was looking through this old shoebox of like letters that my grandfather wrote me. And I was like, we looked at the day, I think it was 9 years old at the time. And my grandfather said, you have such a big love for sports. He was like, one day you're going to be a hell of a broadcaster. And I was like, holy shit, man. 30 years later, I find that note. And my grandfather's talking about me being in broadcasting. I didn't know at 9. Like, I love sports, but I didn't think about being a broadcaster. 30 years later, I find a letter that my grandfather wrote me talking about being a broadcaster. Bro, I almost like dropped my drink. It was crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, when people say like it takes a village, it really does. It really does. Every little bit helps. My mom, my dad, my whole family, my grandmas, my grandfathers, all my coaches along the way. Everybody had something to do with it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm a Tar Heel fan, but there's nothing better than the Duke North Carolina rivalry. It's one of my favorites, no doubt about it. The shot from Austin Rivers years ago, Tyler Hansbrough getting all bloodied up. Since Coach K stepped down, I don't feel the Duke versus UNC forever is. You're not wrong, Chan. You're not wrong. It's not the same. And I think John Shire's done a really good job. Don't get me wrong. It is not an easy gig to be able to follow up with Coach K. And I love what John Shire's been able to do. But also North Carolina's taking a dip. And I love Hubert Davis from his time with the Knicks. He's just been going through it, man. It's the NIL, it's the transfer portals, the one and done. Like, it's tough. College basketball is tough. And I give Coach K a lot of credit for being able to adapt. He was not all about that. Coach Cal was. And Coach K is like, I'm not doing that. A year or two later, he's like, all right, we're going to have to do that. What's up, Jay? Go Bulls, looking for a big night from the defense. I'm with you, Adam. That is right. GP, thank you so much, buddy. It's $10 super chat. GP, hopefully you're going to be one of our new big-time viewers of the show. Excuse me. Happy to support someone who knows and cares about the shit they do. Thank you, GP. Appreciate you, buddy. Chan's like, hey, man, coming to the crew. What's up, buddy? Since we got into the story time portion of the pod, what's the story with memberships? Is that still happening? It is. I want to do the memberships with the website, with the T-shirts and everything. So the guy's gotten a little bit backed up with baseball season and everything. We're in October, getting all these uniforms. The guy that I have work on, he's getting it done. So hopefully by the end of the week, next week. Frustrating injury report. We keep talking about when the Bucks get healthy, but we keep losing guys at a faster rate than we're getting back. Fair point, buddy. Fair point. I went to the prep route myself. Being from Connecticut, we're loaded with boarding and prep school, so lots of options. So many legends came. You're right there. You're right, man. No doubt about it. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you. And Nancy, yes, I know it's kind of surreal. Kind of surreal. I think you just knew that I was going to be involved in multiple sports, and that's part of the reason why I didn't go play baseball in college is, to me, my baseball team that I grew up with, we didn't play, like, we played travel ball, we played together. We had the same group from when we were 5 to when we were 18. So we grew up together, like, still to this day. So going on to the next side, I was like, do I really want to go play baseball? with a bunch of people I don't know when hockey was becoming my favorite sport. No, broadcasting was the way to go. Jay, do you like schnitzel, brats, spetzel, strudel, pierogies? You know where to get it. Sunday, lot 12, 1 p.m. Guys, man, I wish I could go, Nathan. Wish I could go, but you know me, I'm going to be suited and booted. Maybe when it gets a little colder out, I'll stop by. But for right now, I cannot do it. Cannot do it. It's going to be too hot and pain in the butt to be able to get all the way back to the media gate there. And you know your boy needs a rest. Saturday's going to be crazy. Joseph, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Man, you guys are just asking a bunch of questions. I'll just state. Hold on. What were we supposed to talk about right now? The other NFL storylines for the weekend, whatever. I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Let's go there. Jay's Con and the Yanks was the highlight of my week. All right, listen, Greg. Listen. Let's keep things in perspective here, okay? I'm going to ask you a question. If the Yankees beat the Blue Jays and they were talking shit about Toronto, what would everybody say? What would everybody say? I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's not fair, okay? But that shows you why there's nobody like the Yankees. Nobody. It's okay on national TV for the best player on the Toronto Blue Jays to be like, duh, Yankees lose. Is that classy? Is that sportsmanship? No. Is it the worst thing in the world? No. Of course not. Whatever. To the victor goes the spoils, right? But don't sit here and talk about class and talk about sportsmanship when you do shit like that, right? Let's keep it fair. Let's keep it 100. But the reason why people don't say much about it, why? It's because it's the Yankees, man. It's the Yankees. You say whatever you want about the Yankees fans, right? Kind of hard to hate this Yankees team. Is Bellinger and, Judge, Cam Schlittler, are those guys hard to root for? Easy to hate? No. People want to see Judge. Listen, if you hate the Yankees, you know they're going to win more World Series in their lifetime. Aaron Judge is one of those guys that's been performing, even though everybody else hasn't. You'd be like, all right, give him one. Get him one. Joseph Brennan. Jay, did you see how the Phillies lost last night? What is your take on Ryan Kirkray? I watched the post-game show for Philadelphia last night on TV, on social media. Those guys are a fucking joke. A joke. They get so butthurt and angry, and it's just like, dude, you just come off as petulant fools. Yeah, you got to make that play. Yeah, you got to be upset. Or you should be upset, but it's a kid, man. It's a kid. I know he's gotten older. He went to college, but shit happens, man. Mistakes happen. That was a boneheaded play. And the way that he stood up, and this is the reason why I have such a problem with what Jazz Chisholm did when he wasn't in the lineup for game 1 of the playoffs against the Boston Red Sox. Getting dressed with his back turned. Doesn't want to talk to the media. Remember this shit. If you listen to anything I say today, remember this. Remember this. If I say something wrong, or I have no problems putting my hand up and say that I was wrong. I was wrong about Alabama. Who else I was wrong? There was something else that I was just talking about the other day when I was just, the Jaguars. The Lions. That they were going to struggle more than they did. Whatever, man. Nobody's perfect. But you know what you're never going to see from me? You're never going to see me shy away. You're never going to see me run away. You're never going to see me lie about it. You're going to see me stand up, man up, and talk about it. Talk about tough things. Face the fucking music. Jazz Chisholm's going to turn his back on the media because the coach didn't put him in there because he had a bad career average against this guy, and the guy that they did put in had a fantastic one. That's not a team player. Ryan Kirkray last night, one play put the kibosh on his team's season. What did he do? He stood up in front of his locker and he was 100% transparent and honest. It sucks, dude. You think he wanted to do that? No, hell no. You play to win the game. And if you know Orion back from his USF days like I do, the kid's a competitor. Nobody feels worse than him. And all you dipshits online, you want to send threatening things, you want to make a joke of it, whatever, man. That's you. That's the kind of person you are, then that says a whole hell of a lot more about you than it does Orion Kirkland. Is it a boneheaded play? Yeah, of course, he knows that. He's had trouble with inherited runners all year long. Rob Thompson, I don't think, did a great job coaching. They were overmatched as it was. As I tell you all the time here on the show, it comes down to the little things. Unfortunately for him, he got flustered, threw the ball home when he bobbled the ball instead of first base, and their season is over. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Tom Brady didn't remember how many downs there were. Remember that? Remember this thing? Shit happens, man. I just hope people deal with the whole situation with some grace, because there's sure as hell not enough of it. What do you think about that whole Belichick circus? Lady even wants to know. Bro, circus, freak show, dumpster fire. There's just no way this is going to work. Listen to all the stories. Listen to all the commentaries and all the reports about the lack of continuity and the way that he treats his players versus the Mac Brown players, the way his girlfriend is so involved. The one thing that made the New England Patriots were so good, and I say this about all successful franchises, is one voice. One voice. Kraft, Belichick, Brady, down to number 53 on the roster. One voice. No distractions, no bullshit. This is all distractions, all bullshit, multiple voices. I don't know how they thought this was going to work. I don't know how Bill thought this was going to work. There's something going on. I feel like she's got like naked pictures of him or something. Like something's going on. Something's going on. Aaron Boone is the new manager of the Savannah Bananas. Okay, watch out. There you go. Let's see. Ace Specs in the house. Jay, that pitcher's definitely not ready or thinking ahead. 2 outs. We repeat that phrase so many times. 2 outs, easy out. Yeah, man. I'm with you. But even in that moment, you're thinking about executing a pitch first and foremost. That's what people said. It's different when you're in the field making that play than when you're the pitcher. Because when you're at short or when you're at second, you're looking around. Hey, two dead. Me and you. Here we go. You know where you're going with the baseball. You've done that hundreds of times before. No matter how many times you do PFPs, no matter how many times you work with your pitchers fielding the baseball, we see bad plays all the time. And in that moment, he's not thinking about how many outs there are. You should know. But in that moment, it just shows he wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about executing a pitch. He wasn't thinking about fielding the ball. Because if he was, he would have made the right play. I'm not excusing it, but it's a reason. Too many times people want to, oh, that's an excuse, and they want to say, don't be F that guy. I can't stand when people are like, F that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. That's one of my least favorite guys. Don't be F that guy. He was, think about it. Talk about it. Understand why things happen instead of saying, F that. Feel bad. Being accountable. Got that right, my friend. Damn, look at all the comments. Guys, while we're all watching, subscribe if you haven't on the YouTube channel. Hit that notifications bell so you know when we go live. Hit that like button. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Greg DeCruz, did the way the Arizona Cardinals coach react to that running back upset you? Can something like that ruin a locker room? Bulls would never do that. Yes, 100%. I said this with Ian the other day. If you're like grabbing a guy, like, come on, man, you got this. You know, grabbing a guy's face mask, right? To be like, come on, man, you're in this. It's one thing. When you go past the guy and you're pissed off and you like slap him in the chest, different. Completely different. That wasn't a motivation type of smack. That was a harmful type of smack. Is it going to hurt the guy? No. But it's just like, that's an emotional response from a coach instead of a motivational one. There's no place for that. There's no place for that. And yes, I think it can ruin a locker room. Go look at their schedule for the rest of the year. They're in deep shit. That's going to fall off a cliff. Not good. Sports List season ones that crossed off NFL, NHL, MLB going to NBA game this Sunday. Nice. Tailgate, MMA, boxing match. Oh, you got it, buddy. You got it. Yeah, I did see that too, Adam. Really nice at Rob Thompson. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. That's what a real coach is. And Rob Thompson, I think, his time is probably short there in Philadelphia, but I really enjoyed that for that. Jaybird swag coming out soon, DT. Coming out soon. Ryan Gonzalez, should the Bucs trade for Max Crosby? No, the Buccaneers, Ryan, don't really trade like that. That's not Jason Light, mode of operation there. Do they need more of a pass rush? Yes. Would I be happily wrong? Yes. I just don't see it happening. He values his draft picks. You look at how many draft picks have really paid off the last couple of years. It's tough to go against what Jason Light does. So I would say, I don't think, should they? Probably. Will they? No. Not a New York Giants fan, but they got something brewing there with Dart and Scatterboo. Yeah, it's, if anything, it's enjoying to watch. It was great. It was great watching that last night. Ace Specs with a $5 super sticker. Thank you, Ace. You are the best, man. I appreciate it so much. Again, 6 super chats today, guys. Keep them coming. Keep those super chats coming. That's the way that we're going to keep this thing rolling. Just like our friends at Honest Hammer and EverHealth. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, residential commercial needs, 813-244-0956. A lot of people have been saying, hey, I'm trying to make these moves with my kitchen, with my bathroom. I don't know where to go. Honest Hammer Custom Builders is the way. TheHonestHammer.com. It's just TheHonestHammer@gmail.com. My guy, Russ, he's just so trustworthy, and he's a Tampa Bay sports fan. He's just like you, and he's a guy that's been wanting to help us since day one here on the program. I can't say enough nice things about Russ and the entire crew over there. We often speak about not what you say, but how you say it. And just the way that Russ speaks to all the different people that are working there and working for him, you feel good. You always watch situations with how people talk to other people, and it means a lot. And I just love the way that Russ is a guy that just gets on the level of the workers, talks to them. Hey, what do you need? What can I help? Call me, text me. That's the kind of people you want to work with, man. You want to be able to support him, support local. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956. And I say the same thing about our friends EverHealth. EverHealth.org, everything from the cradle to the grave. And I love that if you don't have insurance, okay, they'll take care of you. They take any kind of insurance. They're there with you. EverHealth Institute, if you're looking for a career, they can help you out. EverHealth.org. This is not a place, and again, it's one of 17 locations the one I went to the other day at High Point. They're not your last resort, they're your first resort. This is the type of people you want to be around. It's a clean place. The pharmacy's right there. And I know there's like these bad things about free clinics, but that's not EverHealth, man. You don't walk into that place and feel like it's anything less than. It's something that's continuing to grow. It's a lot of good people. They work together. I can't say enough things about our friends at EverHealth. EverHealth.org. Again, tell them that you heard it right here on the J. Recher podcast. Do I play Madden or any other video games? Nah, not really, man. Don't have much time for that. With it being international break in football, you plan on watching any of these games? Isn't the Rowdies still fighting to get into the playoffs? We're going to talk about that right here, right now. All right, what's going on this weekend? Let's get to it right here. Let's start in the NFL side, looking at some of these games. Obviously, the big game is the Buccaneers and the Niners on Sunday. Other games that I'm watching. Seattle travels to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. We know how good Seattle is. They're a 1.5-point favorite on the road. 1.5-point favorite on the road. Interesting. Denver takes on the Jets there at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England. Am I getting up early for that one? No, sir. The downfall for Arizona started last weekend with Tennessee. I think it gets even worse this weekend as they travel to Indianapolis to take on Daniel Jones and the Colts. Rams and Ravens was supposed to be a pretty good game a couple months ago. Now with Lamar out, the Rams are 7.5-point favorites. Oh man. And then the big game for me is Sunday night, Detroit and Kansas City. Detroit has an opportunity here. Remember, they won the season opener a couple years ago, and I think that really planted their flag of, all right, you got to take this team serious. Kansas City is a 2.5-point favorite, but man, if I was laying some money on this game, I would definitely put it on the Detroit Lions. I just like what they're all about. They're good in all three phases. They're well coached. They're better than I thought they would be. It's not that I said before the season, I thought they were going to be a playoff team. I just thought it was going to be more of a grind, and it just doesn't look like that right now. What else is on this weekend? WNBA Finals tonight, 8 o'clock. The Las Vegas Aces look for the sweep. They're up 3-0 over the Phoenix Mercury. I think they get it done tonight, led by Asia Wilson and the crew. Also, WWE action. We have Crown Jewel from Perth, Australia. Coming up, Greg Roshinsky with the preview on ESPN.com. 8 a.m. tomorrow on ESPN's Unlimited Plan. 8 a.m. from the RAC Arena in Perth, Western Australia. So go check that out. They had SmackDown earlier today. Some really good stuff. A fantastic card. No doubt about it. The amount of injuries in this next game should be called the Ever Health Bowl. Yeah, you got that right, buddy. Got that right. What else is on this weekend? We know our Rowdies are in action. There's 3 games left in the season. They got to win all 3. They really do. They're in action. They're on the road. They're back home next week. Here, I'm looking at it right here. Tomorrow, Rhode Island FC, Tidewater Landing Stadium. Tune in 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus in Tampa Bay 44. And then they finish off with 2 home games. Hartford Athletic, Detroit City FC. The only way they got a chance to make the playoffs is if they win all these 3. Got to get it done. Got to get it done. Go take care of business. If they can do that, hey, I mean, listen, you can't really complain about what anybody else is doing when you save it until the last 3, right? But, hey, go out there and do your thing and maybe give yourself a chance to win. All right, the other big things this weekend, UFC in Brazil. I just saw Greg DeCruz say something about that. Love the card. Gamrot against Charles Dubronx, even though they changed his nickname there. But Davison Figueiredo's on the card. Vicente Luque on the card. And there's a Brazilian in every card, on every fight. So when that happens, the crowd's usually pretty jacked up. The UFC and Brazil cards are always pretty awesome, so you can check that out. And then tonight, we see some action for our U.S. men's national team. And as we inch closer to the World Cup in 2026, Mauricio Pochettino and the crew getting ready. An 8:30 kickoff tonight on TNT with Ecuador. Let's see. We know that our good friend Sarah Walsh is out there, and she's on the coverage too, so make sure you can check them out as well. All right, I'll take a couple more questions before we go. Have you seen Smashing Machine yet? No, have not seen it yet. But definitely something that is on my schedule to see. Oh, I got to catch up on Peacemaker with John Cena. Hell's Kitchen with our good friend Jada Vidal. Kicking ass for Tampa. Smashing Machine marker. I want to see Video Kill the Radio Star with Bubba the Love Sponge and the Hulk Hogan thing. Can be great. As great as DC is on the mic, people forget what a badass fighter was. You ever see DC on Bully Beatdown? I saw it years ago, and then just saw it again the other day, and it was just so freaking good. He just beat the snot out of this bully that was just making these kids' lives a living hell, and pulling them out with the armbar and everything. It was really, really cool. Love it. Excited for the Bulls tonight, man. ESPN2, number 24 team in the country, taking on North Texas. Yeah, man. I look at this entire situation, and it's all things are right in front of them. It really is. You want to be considered one of the best teams in the country. You don't want to deal with silver linings and moral victories. All right, man. Now's an opportunity to be able to go out there and do it. I'm excited for the Bulls. Really am. All right, guys. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I love you all. A big thank you to EverHealth. Honest Hammer. Look at the super chats today. David Terry, Benny, Chan, Eddie, GP, Ace, I love you all, man. Thank you so much for contributing to the program. That's the only way we're going to keep this thing rolling. What is your prediction for USF tonight? I think USF wins a close one, 35-31. Bucks win Sunday. Let's go with the same score, 35-31 for both games. That'd be pretty cool if that happens. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Love you guys. GP, same, buddy. Same. Definitely. You guys come back on Monday. Hopefully it's a victory Monday. We're talking about a win for our Bulls and our Bucks. Keep tweeting at Rob Higgins the picture of my USF shirt. Let's see if we can get a response. I love you all, man. Thank you so much. The T-shirts are coming soon. The memberships are coming soon. We're going to continue this ride going, and we can't do it without you. I love you all. Everybody have a safe, a happy, a healthy weekend. Go Bulls, go Bucks, go Rowdies, go everybody. Go Bolts. Oh, before we stop, I need everybody, even if you're not going to the Lightning game, to go support us tomorrow. Sticks and Stools on the Lightning YouTube channel outside of Benchmark International Arena. Come check us out at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Come check us out, man. They're going to be giveaways. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we can't do it without you guys. Sticks and Stools tomorrow at 6 o'clock right outside the arena. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Hopefully it's a victory Monday right here on the Jay Recher podcast.